Today we're diving into a new name that has come into the trade circles even though the season hasn't finished, and that is Gold Coast contracted player Sam Flanders. There's been fresh reports circulating all week. St Kilda are in the box seat. Another name they are linked with. Carlton, they're also in the conversation too. Let's unpack the fit, the price, and what the Suns will expect for a player of his calibre. Let's get in. So Sam Flanders is currently 24. The Gippsland product has just under around 90 games and a genuine Swiss Army knife for football. Can play halfback on the ball and has recently been seen at high half forward. He looked really strong a couple of years ago for the Suns, playing at that down back role as the ball distributor. He's been shuffled around though in 2025 as more talent comes in to Damien Hardwick's Gold Coast Suns. Victorian clubs are now starting to ask the question. Multiple outlets have repeated the same drumbeat. St Kilda are confident of getting Flanders. Carlton's name always gets linked to these types of players. He definitely is the role type player that the Blues are looking for. And publicly, the Suns, as always, have been firm and saying he's a required player. But situations can change. A plethora of young talent coming into Gold Coast. It can't all stay in the same list. Now, let's look at Sam Flanders. He is a high possession type player. Uses the ball fairly okay. He can be hit and miss with his kicking, but he wins his own ball. He connects lines. He breaks lines. And he absolutely can torch teams. We saw that this year off half forward as well versus Melbourne and versus GWS. It's productive. It might not be as explosive as the 2023 year, but it is strong. And the list dynamics at Gold Coast make it a real complex kind of thing. The midfield stack, Tuke Miller, Matt Rowell, Noah Anderson. You've got Daniel Rioli, John Noble now been patrolling the halfback. Then you've got the young kids that are coming in. They have got a lot of talent. So Flanders has kind of been pushed out to the wing, high half forward. And that's a credit really, I think, to his versatility. But it's not where he's going to do his best work. And he's definitely that type of player that I feel could thrive with some midfield time. Now, the Suns are now in their finals campaign, so nothing's going to be done very early. He's definitely going to be a required player while that is. This is definitely going to be one that will brew when and if such time that they get knocked out. He is, though, a real fascinating watch for these teams because players like this genuinely could become top level players at the right fit. So why the noise? Why the noise? Well, it's simple, isn't it? You look at what Gold Coast are bringing in this year with their youth academy. You look what they've brought in the last couple of years as well. There is a maximum amount of talent you can have on your list. And unfortunately for Flanders, they've put a lot of time into these academy kids. There's another halfback coming. They've gone with stable ones that really fit Dimmer's system. That really shifts the narrative of, is it too much money to have him on your list when you've got better options and you've got developing options? Obviously, with him being in contract, though, that makes it quite a hard deal to get done in the terms of it's going to cost you something. It's not going to be a throwaway freebie. Now, from St Kilda, what is that fit? He's clean. It's exactly what St Kilda want. They want more midfield connection, more class, more points of difference. He'll love the inside-out flexibility. He can slide onto the wing, plays very well off halfback. They've kind of tried to do that with Sinclair. And he's a real good distributor as well. And he's got that little bit of X factor. Doesn't often play panic footy and hits and keeps the ball moving. The Saints are really trying to get into that modern day transition, get more run and ball use, particularly around the talent they've got. And Flanders is really that archetype that I think they're desperately missing. He can support the forwards at half forward, be that nice conduit. He can be a distributor off halfback, and he can change things up in the midfield. The thoughts of Flanders and Philippo being part of that midfield contingent is really exciting. I think year one, they would definitely use him like 60-40 on the wing, swinging at halfback, half forward, being that extra stabiliser, but also being that ability to change things up in the forward half of the ground. He could really be a prime move for them. He's not a pure burst athlete. He's that chain builder, and that is so important. Now, the price, when you look at this, with it being contracted through, Gold Coast are going to demand high capital, as high as they can. He is a top 10 pick. Based on recent trades, you would say that these kind of mids are definitely going to go for a first. Now, is that with something coming back from Gold Coast? Probably. You look at where Gold Coast Suns are at the minute. They are going to make a lot of bids this year, so it's probably a future as well. They're probably not going to be looking at first-round picks this year unless they have a target in mind that they currently use it. But that is probably a price worth paying, because I do think he would definitely slot in to the best 23. Saints do seem quite confident in this trade window, so this is a real fascinating one to watch, because they are linked with just about everyone. So it is going to be one of them negotiation deals that I don't think you pay the first offer. Suns will definitely try and hold out for max return, but I do think something like a future first with maybe something coming back is the fair one. Now, the other team we've talked about is Carlton, and for me, the logic with Carlton is different, absolutely different. When you look at Carlton's list, it screams it needs a bit of outside speed, a bit of polish, and a bit of je ne sais quoi. Now, Flanders may not be the elite kicker, but his versatility, his reliability, his pace, his hard-way, two-way running, and that versatility is key. They've tried to replace Sam Doherty to some point, and Sam Doherty hasn't been at his best where he was at his prime. Sam Flanders can do that role, half-back, wing, half-forward. It gives them some real flexibility. It's a real rotation flexibility, and he is a very good, stable decision-maker between the arcs. There's a strategic twinkle in this type of pick. Now, Carlton, for the picks this year, TDK pick is probably pointless to the Blues. Harry Dean coming in, Jack Eisen with a later pick. The Sauce coverage will be pretty much that, and Carlton will probably do a deal to get a second in, which will cover it. That's easy. That's like 101 picking it. So the early picks are going to be chewed up. So Carlton are probably going to be more inclined to bring in a talent with that pick. Now, that pick will fall somewhere between 9 and 13 with pushbacks. So what that would say is it's a real price-sensitive point for Carlton. Now, with the JSOS and TDK compensation, that stymies them from free agency going that way, because as we know with the Eddie Betts, Daisy Thomas, that's the AFL rule. It's a net loss on players. So Carlton will look at this and don't want to get into a bidding war. This is where Carlton are going to try and prize him and say, choose us. At the right price, I think he's exactly what the Blues need. With Elijah Holland's been told to move elsewhere, Doc retiring, they have basically got an upgrade on both of them. Now, for the Suns are funny, right? They've said he's not going to go anywhere. They're pushing for sustained finals. They've got a real young core, and it's all starting to bear fruit. Now, trading a mid-20s player who can cover multiple roles can be a disaster. The contract status will give them leverage, right? So this is really fascinating, but you've got to look at it this way. Rioli and Noble are occupying that place. They've got a load of young, exciting talent in. He's probably not going to be a walk-up starter, particularly in his favoured role. Now, you can see the Suns have kind of doubled down on this, and they want to increase his market. So this is going to be really fascinating, because I do feel that Gold Coast will want to trade out players while they've got value. Another year where Flanders, let's just say now, halves his game time next year, everyone stays fit, we're looking at a very different price point. So this is not one of them rumours that we've heard for a lot. He's been a watch for a long time, and I think Sam Flanders is definitely a player with his Victorian roots that teams will look. But this is where where Saints and Carlton now have got to play the waiting game and also make sure the price is right. Because if you can get him for the right price, so let's say it's a future first and a third coming back, it evens it up that way. It gives you some points. We don't expect the father-son to change like that. It could be fascinating what it is. So what could St Kilda do to get this deal done? I would say Gold Coast will want to win the negotiation, or at least feel like they are, right? So I would say that probably a future first with a future third coming back, a late pick swap to even up the points, probably gets the job done, right? Suns send Flanders to St Kilda. St Kilda send a future pick. They get a very, very strong utility type player in here, and that is a very good net win for them. I don't think Saints would want to pry their first this year, but it's another thing that if they got them in with the players they're linked, it's a real show of we're serious. And although it could be quite expensive compared to the other deals they're doing, it does literally give them that kind of 5-year plan with these new talents, helps them with their defensive exits, helps them with their conduit links from the midfield to forward. Now, what will Carlton get the deal done? Now, Carlton are a fascinating one because they don't want to give a future first. Carlton have got Cody Walker situation. We're expecting to hear about that. The new noise now is it's going to be delayed till 2027 at best. They want to enter this and make sure that it's in the right area. Now, Carlton might look at that compensation pick for TDK. Now, let's just say Carlton did that. They offered their first. I think Carlton would probably want 30 coming back. What that would do is 30. It helps Gold Coast out because now they'd have a load of points. We expect them to trade 12 and 15 out for more points. That's very similar to what Gold Coast have done when they've matched their multiple players. They have had picks just in and around there and in around the 20s. Now the rules has changed. They become like the team picks. It would make sense for them to do that. Carlton get the 30. That would give Jesus and that pick 30, which then would come back in with a lot of these bid matches because Brisbane, Gold Coast and Sydney host quite a few picks in them first 30 selections, which they have bids on. So what that would do then is create Carlton. They get Harry Dean, Sam Flanders for that pick. Now, it is quite a lot of cash, in my opinion, but he is a very good player. He's a massive upgrade on someone like Sam Doherty in his last 3 years. He's a massive, reliable upgrade on Elijah Holland. It's definitely a haul in Carlton's list. And the fact that they can merge Jagger Smith into that midfield, have another runner who has got some points of difference, is a huge lateral win for the Blues, and they get Harry Dean in. And for the Blues, that's why would they do this? That's a stabiliser who allows the Stars to attack. It doesn't make Carlton better. It makes Carlton a lot spreadable. It makes them playing at high half forward, have that wing option, create that rotation, create an accumulator out wide, which is desperately what the Blues lose. They really do lack someone that can get 25, 30 touches on the outer when they win so much centre bounce. And it gives them a point of difference to throw in there. He complements Walsh. He complements Jagger Smith. He definitely complements Cripps and Hewitt. And he definitely makes Holland's Ollie a lot better in that terms. And it makes Carlton a little bit more handball happy with purpose as opposed to handball over the top and then just kick it long. It's a real fascinating one. So what is the reward for both clubs? For St Kilda, they get a prime age player, another system enhancer. It's a risky price point for them for a non-Australian, but he's got all the traits that say he's a top-level player in the right system. For Carlton, it definitely raises the baseline. It definitely covers Carlton's ability to have some players who play out on the spread, who can impact. It's going to be real fascinating because the risk points from this is it's a lot of money. They will expect a first for one player, but he is what they're looking for, a connector with outside pace and the ability to change the game. Now, for Gold Coast, the reward would be keep him, you retain depth and system security, but sell him, you probably get a decent pick back that you can then easily trade back as there's targets in this draft. So this could be a fascinating one. So right now, the loudest report in the noise is St Kilda. They're confident. Everyone else seems confident. Gold Coast are doing what all clubs do. No. He's a required player. We know that's Balderdash, though, when it comes to the point. They are playing finals. They've got to say that. But I'd watch Carlton here. Carlton have said that this is the type of player they want, and he's definitely one of them players that Carlton would look at and go, we can definitely get him back to that 2023 because there is huge holes in the list that do it. I think this is going to be a fascinating to watch. I think this could be a really, really good acquisition. And I will go as far as to say I'm a big Flanders man. So I do think Flanders, if he leaves, will become a good star. So I think he's an A+ fit for St Kilda. I think he's an A* fit for Carlton. And I think he's a B- for Gold Coast to keep him. I think they can benefit on him. So over to you, chat. What do you think? Sam Flanders, what is he worth? What would you do if you were Sam Flanders? St Kilda, how much are you willing to pay for him? Is he the type of player that you want? And for Carlton, where do you see him fitting in? Is this something that excites you? And if you're a Suns supporter, are you willing to risk waiting until 2027 and hoping that he plays a lot of games and it becomes a bigger price point? Or, while there's people wanting to trade out of the draft, do you want to see if you can snag into there and try and get some future firsts? Let me know what you think. Loads more breakdowns to come. Loads more content. See you soon. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Pom out.